And hello there, folks. This is your Uncle Troy, and today we're showing off some of the wonderful builds from the 1.2.5 world that unfortunately has been reset because the man who ran the server wanted to start fresh for 1.3. So I figured it would be appropriate to show some of the builds from 1.25 and to allow the world to be downloaded in case anybody else wanted to explore in it and play in it. So that's the purpose of this video. These images were created with a program called MC Map, link in the description below, which converted the 160 megabyte world file, that's compressed by the way, into some very large, very cumbersome images. Very detailed, but they're so big that most of the viewers I tried to view them on with my computer did not work. This here is Spawn and some of the houses and forts near it. And this here is a very large desert pyramid, which was created by one of our younger members. And I'm told this down here was a village, which I never discovered, even though it was only a fairly short walk away from where I had my bases set up. Because if you look here at Spawn and see all the beautiful, wonderful, huge buildings, the little brown smudge over to the left, that's my biggest house I ever built. So that shows you kind of what I managed to accomplish. Alright, this image was created by a program called Chunky, also a link in the description below. And this is my first house I built on the server, a swamp house. Actually, some of the kids called me Shrek because I lived alone out in the swamp and wanted to be left alone and yelled at kids to get off my lawn. The funny thing is, I explored the island for like 2 hours, looking for a secluded place where I could set up a hidden base where I wouldn't be disturbed, and it turns out I'm just like a stone's throw away from Spawn. And in fact, once people started building around Spawn, I couldn't look up without seeing some building on the skyline. In fact, a railway behind us there goes out to the big pyramid, which I'll show you here in a second. So kind of almost shamed by all the other builds on the server, I decided to make me a new house. And I thought, well, I'll do something unique and original. I'll make the walls out of fences. I'll make it a big, flat, single-story structure, big enough to be seen from space, as it were. And then I thought, well, I'll even do something on the outside. I couldn't decide if I wanted to use trapdoors to make kind of a canopy effect, or if I wanted to put vines to have kind of a curtain drapes effect. And I think it turned out real nice, but then when I looked at it actually from the aerial view, as you can tell in the earlier maps, it just looked like a big brown blur there compared to some of the other builds. And of course the kicker was when people said, oh, by the way, so-and-so did that months ago, the exact same pattern you have here, except he used nether fences, or he used iron bars where you used fence posts. But otherwise he did exactly the same thing. But good build, sir, good build. I was actually pretty proud of my little swamp house until they took me out into the desert and showed me this massive pyramid, which looks like something out of Stargate SG-1 as far as I'm concerned, with a nice little railway, which is what I was talking about was polluting my skyline there above my swamp house. Also a really nice water sculpture sort of thing here. And off in the distance there is somebody's half-finished project that basically is a giant tree. A tree that's like 30 meters across and twice that tall, and made by placing individual blocks of wood. And since we're a survival mode server and not a creative mode server, that meant that they had to chop down every piece of wood and place it by hand. Nearer to Spawn are these docks and a house. I think this is Halo Man's house, I'm not sure. Several houses actually here. Again, I was surprised. I don't log on to the server every day, and sometimes it seems like I, stay away for just like a couple of days, and then I come back and the whole place has been changed on me. Now, El Chico built this, a multi-story wooden structure with what looks to be a helicopter landing pad on top, and he says, yes, that's what he was going for. Also a nice cactus farm, and looks like an enclosed corral, Off in the distance there, you'll see a mob spawning area made completely out of sand and sandstone because he just thought it looked better. I tried to explain to him that if a creeper finds it, he's in trouble. But you know how kids are. And here's a slightly different angle at the same area. This is showing some buildings by Lime 2149, I believe it was, who created kind of an open air strange house, a mob's trap, and the world's largest tower. I don't know if he ever got around to digging down to bedrock, so it would be sky limit down to bedrock, but it's still pretty impressive. You know, it's my fault for not exploring more. Somebody had said we actually had a jungle somewhere on the island. Our spawn area was basically on a giant island, and it's my fault for never actually going looking for it. I may have been here at some point, but I certainly don't remember this nice little village. And in the distance, you can see the giant wood structure again. Still don't know who did that. Okay, and here's a better shot at the massive wood structure, and I think it gives you some idea of the scale when you consider that, well, it's much taller than any of the trees around, and every level was like 30 across, so that's what, 100 blocks of wood for every single meter it goes up. That's pretty impressive. Somebody has entirely too much free time on his hands. And you may remember me finding this little village here. It's just 2 buildings and a wheat farm. All the villagers were gone by the time we found it. But somebody had built a giant pyramid structure here. Some kind of obelisk, I think, is what it's called. And, well, it just struck me as funny and clever to pretend like, you know, it was some supernatural explanation for the obelisk and for the villagers disappearing. And somebody's house is over there in the corner. I can't remember whose that was. I know that TechDolphin, with a tiny bit of help from me, made this gazebo here at spawn. Unfortunately, the side effect of that is that when you respawn, you come out on top of the gazebo and you have to drop off. Now, fortunately, you're at full health, so the tiny amount of damage you get from falling off the top of it doesn't stick around. You regenerate it quickly. But that's about all we made at spawn, and a couple of very primitive houses. And as you can see, the rest of the guys just came in and kind of just built all around it and just took over. And Steven V25 made this lovely fort here at the spawn. Several buildings inside, some massive wheat farms, amber waves of grain and all that. Some flags across the top, some very high parapets, I think they're called, where they jut up into the air like that from the castle walls. Turrets, maybe, is what they're called. All I know is this was impressed the heck out of me. He says it wasn't all that impressive, just, you know, a lot of digging, making the stone, but still, just from the massive scale, it impresses me. It's the largest structure in the world map that you can find. And it's kind of hard to see any detail here in the netherworld. We didn't explore a whole lot. The netherworld file is much smaller than the overworld file. And the end is, of course, well, I think the end is always small. There's no way you can really make the end any bigger. I would like to experiment, maybe find several different end portals in different areas of the world and see if they generate different ends. But this is just the place where we killed the dragon, and then you can see the very nice Enderman farm over there in the corner. And if you watched my videos before, you know that there are other structures hidden around the map. I've taken world tours and whatnot, and so you've seen them. But I'll let you find those on your own. Feel free to download the world map. The link is in the description below, along with the pictures that I've created and for this slideshow. Also, down below you should find links to the programs I use to create these pictures in case you want to create some pictures of your own from this server or from your single player world. Just anything that you'd like to show me, I'd be interested in seeing. Alright, this is Uncle Troy signing out. Thank you for watching, and please have a good night.